Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're diving into times some of our favorite shows went too far. And we're starting with moments from The Simpsons that we think crossed the line.
Good Lord.
Oh, how could you?
I think I'm going to be sick.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times The Simpsons went too far.
Well done, Monkey. That other panda gave some unexpected zazz.
For this list, we'll be looking at moments in the long-running adult animation that have been considered to be in extreme bad taste, undermine a developed character, or is questionable all around. What Simpsons moments are too far for you? Number 20. Troy McClure's Abnormality. Oh, sure, you might remember him from some obscure movie back in the day, but what you might not remember is that McClure is a bit odd.
Heartthrob.
Yeah, who'd have thought he turned out to be such a weirdo?
What are you talking about?
You know, his bizarre personal life. Those weird things they say he does down at the aquarium. Why, I heard...
Oh, Homer, that's just an urban legend. People don't do that type of...
Rumors have been swirling around about his personal life and seem to have killed his career. Things began to take a turn when he starts dating Selma, and he starts to be seen as marketable again.
File romance. Troy's managed to shake the rumors that have dogged his career. And with news of his upcoming wedding, rumor has it he's up for some very choice roles.
Looks like you were wrong when you called him a washed-up.
It's never made explicitly clear what the rumors are, but they have something to do with fish. Several characters comment on it, and Troy himself says it's something that has to remain hidden at all costs.
Be no problem. No, what I have is a romantic abnormality. One so unbelievable that it must be hidden from the public.
That's enough for us to not need any more details. Number 19. Homer finds Waylon Smithers Sr. After being hypnotized, Homer begins screaming uncontrollably.
Do something, Miss Marino.
Yes.
Oh, that's better.
The screaming itself is too far for us, but it's actually what Homer finds that's troublesome. When he was 12, he, along with Lenny, Carl, and Moe, went to dive into a quarry to swim. However, the quarry was empty and Homer discovered there was a blockage in a nearby drain pipe.
What the heck is that thing?
There, he discovers the corpse of Waylon Smithers Sr. It's definitely an unsettling image for a young Homer to have to face, especially since the corpse lands right in Homer's lap and has maggots coming out of it.
You found a corpse when you were 12? No wonder you've been so traumatized.
It's responsible for everything wrong in my life.
Number 18. The Simpsons Go to Brazil. The Simpsons traveling to Brazil should have been a fun little adventure to the South American continent. Lisa reveals she's been sponsoring a young boy named Ronaldo, and after he goes missing, the family travels to Rio de Janeiro to find him.
It's awfully expensive to fly to Brazil.
Not if we buy our tickets on the internet. It's really cheap if we change planes in Phoenix, Honolulu, Sun City, and East St. Louis, spend the night in a haunted house, and leave right now.
While typical Simpsons hijinks occur during the episode, critics and government officials weren't happy with the country's portrayal. They were upset with how Rio was made to look like it was rampant with street crime, slums, kidnappings, and rat infestations.
Mom, these are slums. The government just painted them bright colors so the tourists wouldn't be offended.
Works for me.
Yeah, check out the rats.
Ooh, they look like Skittles.
Further, they also didn't appreciate how the show used stereotypes from surrounding nations, such as characters having Spanish accents.
You can protect her forever, you stupid lady.
Number 17. The Real Seymour Skinner. Perhaps one of the most controversial episodes of the series, everything we know about Seymour Skinner has been a lie. While Principal Skinner is being honored by the townsfolk, a man claiming to be the real Seymour Skinner shows up.
I'm an imposter. That man is the real Seymour Skinner.
The man we all thought was Skinner quickly reveals that he's actually Armin Tamzarian, and he took on the identity of Skinner when he couldn't tell Agnes that her son had seemingly died.
I don't know why I did what I did. I guess I couldn't bear to tell her about her son. What I did was wrong, but I'd do it again. Yes, Mother, it's me.
You look different somehow.
Of course, this twist undermines the audience's understanding of Skinner's character. It's not only fans and critics who took issues with the episode, but so did Harry Shearer, Skinner's voice actor, as well as Matt Groening saying it's one of his least favorite episodes. Number 16. Homer jumps the Springfield Gorge. Bart develops an obsession with professional daredevil Lance Murdoch. After some initial missteps, Bart begins to develop his skills at jumping over things with his skateboard.
I did it.
As he improves, he becomes popular and he seeks out more challenging jumps. He decides he'll jump Springfield Gorge, even though it's highly likely he won't make it. Understandably, Homer tries to stop his son from doing something so reckless to no avail. In the nick of time, Homer stops Bart but winds up attempting the jump himself. Predictably, he falls well short of making it and painfully falls to the bottom of the gorge.
This is the greatest thrill of my life! I'm king of the world! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Not only is the fall brutal, but it was a painful road to recovery.
What the audience didn't see was the unfunny aftermath.
Number 15. Bart hates himself. During a Little League baseball game, Bart misses a catch that would have won Springfield a championship.
Huh?
It's understandable that some townspeople would be upset with Bart's performance, but the reaction is too much. Not only does the crowd pelt Bart with objects, but he becomes a pariah in the town. It gets to the point where he spray paints the phrase, "I hate Bart Simpson," all over the place.
See? I hate me too. Now we can be friends again.
Even after he falls from the water tower and is recovering in the hospital, a crowd gathers to chant that he sucks.
Bart sucks! Bart sucks! Bart sucks!
Bart is just a kid, and in no way does he deserve this kind of treatment. Number 14. Hiring the Yakuza. Marge doesn't seem like the type to invest money into businesses, given that it can be a risky venture. In fact, it's her risk-averse nature that gets her kicked out of her investment club, the Investorettes.
Well, Marge, you're about as popular as Rugburn. All in favor of expelling Marge from the Investorettes.
Aye. All right, Helen. If I'm not wanted, I'll leave.
To show them up, she invests $500 in Pretzel Wagon. While the pretzels are good, Marge can't gain traction in terms of sales. To help her business, Homer hires the mob to wipe out the competition.
I've never reached out to you before, but my wife is in her hour of need. Your help could make all the difference in the world.
Okay. See, boss? I told you that ad in the church bulletin would pay off.
The Investorettes are none too happy and hire the Yakuza to administer payback to Marge. Helen Lovejoy and Maude Flanders are part of the investor group, and it's wild that they would resort to gangland violence to take out Marge.
Perhaps you've heard of the Yakuza, the poison fists of the Pacific Rim, the Japanese mafia.
Number 13. Mr. Burns' villainy. Mr. Burns tends to be shrewd and cold-hearted, so it's not surprising when he does something terrible. In this instance, however, he goes way overboard.
I must say Mr. Burns is being awfully inconsiderate. Selfish, even.
When oil is found beneath Springfield Elementary, he taps the well before the school can, denying the wealth and prosperity the school could have provided its students. His oil drilling company also causes Moe's Tavern to close, injures Santa's Little Helper, and destroys the retirement home.
Certainly vanquished all your enemies, the elementary school, the local tavern, the old age home. You must be very proud.
The most egregious thing he does is block out the sun in order to force everyone to have their lights on 24/7. It's incredibly fiendish.
Take one last look at the sun, Springfield.
Number 12. Homer abandons his dad. On a long drive back home from a ghost town, Grandpa really has to pee, but Homer refuses to pull over.
Please go back. You can make it my birthday present. We're almost home, Dad. Only a couple more times over the horizon, but I might explode!
Grandpa's kidneys explode, and Homer volunteers to donate one of his own to his dad. However, on the day the operation is supposed to happen, Homer cowardly runs away, leaving his dad to die.
I can't imagine Dad running away like this, leaving his father to die?
Even I wouldn't do that, and I'm America's bad boy.
It's a heartbreaking situation.
It's a complete and utterly terrible thing for him to do. In shame, he decides to live at sea. On a ship, he meets a group of outcasts, and even they are so disgusted by his actions that they kick him off the ship.
I stole this accordion from a blind monkey, but you, you disgust even me. Well, yeah, I know.
We've seen Homer be careless and inconsiderate before, but this is downright terrible. Number 11, Panda Love. Over the course of the series, Homer has gone through a lot. This episode adds to the indignities he's faced in a pretty bad way. Needing some extra cash, Homer becomes Mr. Burns' prank monkey.
Let's keep the laughs coming, eh, Simpson? What say I make you my executive in charge of recreation? No, better yet, my prank monkey.
Do you keep giving me money?
I can't have my little monkey running around.
This typically involves Burns giving Homer money in exchange for doing something humiliating, such as laying on the men's room floor in a diaper.
Baby made a boom boom.
Oh, good heavens! Oh!
However, things go a little too far when Burns has Homer pose as a panda at an exhibit at the Springfield Zoo. There, another panda mistakes Homer as a mate and drags him away unwillingly. Of course, it's portrayed in a light manner, but it is in fact deeply disturbing. Number 10. Homer straps dynamite to himself. The town of Springfield is divided when they discover that the poorer folks in town have been given new telephone area codes, while the wealthy get to keep the old one. The citizens gather in the town hall for a meeting.
Wait a minute. We haven't heard from me yet.
In this side gag that runs throughout the scene, culminating in an angry mob, we see that Homer has arrived at the meeting strapped with dynamite. While the episode aired pre-9/11, given that so many public places have been the target of terrorist attacks in the early 21st century, the joke has not aged well. Number 9. Jockeyies are murderous elf-like creatures. The episode begins like classic Simpsons fare. The family comes into possession of a pet they cannot afford and tries to come up with a creative means of supporting it. This time it's a horse, and Bart becomes a jockey. Things take a turn when the horse starts winning. It's not the mafia or corrupt bookies that insist Homer throw a race, however, it's singing murderous elven jockeys.
Your horse must lose.
My horse must lose?
No win.
No show. No place.
Just lose the stinking race.
It's one thing to canonize that there are brain-eating elves living by a chocolate stream under Springfield Downs racetrack, but to literally dehumanize people of small stature, a cruel stereotype against which little people grapple daily, is much worse. Number 8. Lisa enjoys secondhand cigarette smoke. When a ballet academy sets up in Springfield, Marge decides to fulfill a lifelong dream to become a ballerina. While she has skill, she's too old. However, the instructor notices Lisa's naturally perfect posture and wants her to join.
I rarely say this, but how would you like to become a paying student of my dance academy?
To Lisa's frustration, she discovers she's bad at it, until she hangs out with the other girls on their smoke break. After inhaling the secondhand smoke, she feels like she does better, leading her to want to smoke cigarettes.
Time for a smoke.
While the episode is good overall and reminiscent of a classic-era Simpsons morality play, having level-headed Lisa pick up cigarettes and contemplate something so harmful is decidedly uncomfortable.
Give me that!
Number 7. Bart and Lisa cover up the murder of Martin Prince. The sleuthing of Bart and Lisa is a beloved plot arc standby, and throughout the show they've foiled nefarious schemes together and brought corrupt men to justice. The tables are turned when a prank goes wrong, and they think they've killed classmate in Goody Two-Shoes, Martin Prince.
Bart, you can't just run away from this!
You're right. I can bike away much faster and ring the bell to drown out bad thoughts.
Rather than do what you'd expect and tell an adult that Martin fell off a cliff and attempt his recovery, they cover the whole thing up. This naturally causes them a lot of mental anguish. And while it turns out okay, you spend the episode thinking the kids might not be all right after all.
Well, it's good to have you alive, Dorkburger. And as for you two, I hope you learned your lesson.
Number 6. Frank Grimes' death. Frank Grimes has had it rough and just wants to get his life going when he moves to Springfield. However, he immediately notices how insanely messed up Homer is. A somewhat meta episode, many people regard Homer's enemy as the end of the golden era of The Simpsons, when Homer's buffoonery itself becomes the joke.
Yesterday? Gee, that would have been stupid.
Frank eventually goes over the edge, as any sane person might, when he meets his end in a grisly fashion.
I don't need safety gloves because I'm Homer Simpson.
And life, for everyone else, carries on as normal. Number 5. Marge's breast implants. While out with Manjula, Marge, the sweet beloved matriarch of the family, is talked into getting liposuction. When she wakes up from surgery, she discovers that there has been a mix-up and her tummy tuck turned into breast implants.
What on earth have you done? My McGuppies became bazongas.
Not only was it a terrible departure for her character, but also it's just cringy as hell to see her so overtly sexualized in what felt like very obvious fan service. At the end of the episode, putting a cherry on this cringe cheesecake, she flashes a crowd of people to save Homer, Bart, and Milhouse from being eaten by an elephant.
Whoa, look at those Magumbos!
Number 4. The death of Maude Flanders. When Homer antagonizes the racetrack t-shirt cannon cheerleaders, Maude Flanders is struck with the clothing barrage, knocked off the bleachers and into the parking lot, dying on impact.
In many ways, Maude Flanders was a supporting player in our lives.
The shocking scene was highly anticipated, although viewers were unsure which Springfield citizen would kick the bucket. It was the first time a regular character was actively killed off, and it changed the dynamic of not just the show, but also the character of Ned Flanders. In a show that, like so many others, resets at the end of each episode, this seemed like an awfully drastic step to spice things up.
Lord, I never question you, but I've been wondering if your decision to take Maude was, well, wrong.
Number 3. Homer dreams of killing his father. Abe and Homer's rocky dynamic has produced some of the series' best moments. In the opening of this season 19 episode, we see them arguing during a drive home, and it seems like there's nothing out of the ordinary. However, when the car goes off the road, Abe is too injured to get out. Rather than dial 911, Homer kills him. The dream sequence of Homer smothering his father as he struggles to breathe has no bearing on the rest of the episode, but somehow it makes the unnecessarily shocking scene worse. It might be a Sopranos reference, but it is still odd and disturbing.
What? Oh, I was having the most wonderful dream. I always wake up just before the good part.
Number 2. Moe nearly ends his life. Moe Sislak's despair has been an off-color gag throughout the show's run, with ill-fated attempts and accidentally saving Maggie while preparing to jump from a bridge. But things got especially dark in this episode, as Moe slowly walks up to a prepared noose in his bar, while Homer, Lenny, and Carl are in the other room, none the wiser.
'Cause this time, there's no one that's gonna save me!
Slipping the noose around his neck, he calls a helpline. Accidentally kicking the chair out, the booze hounds rush to the noise and find him on the floor, which is all played out for laughs. Number 1. Marge won't take no for an answer. What the hell, Simpsons? The setup here is that Marge has been lifting weights and juicing up as a way to feel back in control of herself after she was mugged and developed agoraphobia. As a result, she becomes more aggressive. In one scene, she wants a little action in bed, and when Homer says he's not up to it, she tells him she wasn't asking. The next morning, Homer is limping around the kitchen. Having Marge be so aggressive, to the point where she forces herself on her husband, goes against her character and is just plain horrible.
From a talking fish to CIA disasters, American Dad thrives on absurdity. But sometimes Stan and the gang can take things, you guessed it, too far.
Oh, God! Was that the lobotomy? Nope, just a little spot of ink to show me where to stick this drill.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times American Dad went too far.
I feel really bad about what I did. I haven't slept in 7 hours, not counting naps.
For this list, we'll be looking at the grossest, meanest, and most shocking moments from the beloved Langley Falls animated series that left us disturbed. Who's your favorite American Dad character outside of the Smiths? Number 20, Becky's Cruel Fate. Hoping to make real and not virtual memories, the Smiths ended up on an actual cruise for the episode The Vacation Goo. But that went wrong when most of the family and Steve's love interest Becky had to hide out in a cave. Unfortunately, the latter ends up fatally crushed by rocks in a cave. Later on, the hungry family is debating how to solve their food problem. The four of them eventually agree to make a meal out of their fallen comrade.
But I'll say another thing. It's Sunday night, and we finally had a family dinner.
To make matters worse, it turned out that the Smiths weren't ever in danger. In the end, both Becky and the audience could have been spared from this needlessly cruel and bleak plotline.
Well, nothing bonds a family like a dark, horrible secret.
So, where do you guys want to go next year?
Number 19, Fishing for Pain.
There she is! I got this. Go hide while I save our lives.
In one episode, Stan builds a dam to serve his selfish needs. By the end of the story, Francine finds out and destroys the structure. Her decisive actions led to a conflict between her and a few lake people.
Dan, it's time for you to finally let me do something I'm good at. Go hide.
At first, the fight scene seems like it'll be another fun parody, but it gets graphic once Francine uses her rod in a brutal way. Since we can't show you what happens, enjoy this imagery of Ms. Smith fishing while we tell you that she graphically targeted a lake person's eyes. Francine even went after his Pan's Labyrinth eyes. While we're all for her defending herself, her unexpectedly brutal actions gave us a scene that was a little bit more than we bargained for. Number 18, B12 Deficiency. With Steve's legendary boy band B12's return in Russian Doll, things get off to a sad start with a mystery assassin taking out the members. While we don't see every death in detail, we learn about the slaughter as time goes on.
Were you just listening to the boy band I was in?
Yeah, they've been playing it a lot recently since some psychopath's been murdering all the band members one by one.
I have been getting a lot more calls that are just heavy breathing lately.
In the end, the final fate of the killer Abraham H. made for the most graphic scene. The villain appeared to try and take out Steve. However, the kid's messy teenage bedroom unintentionally caused Abraham to be launched out of the window. And let's just say the villain didn't land on something soft. While the thought of a musical serial killer was grim enough, the violent end of this plotline was especially gruesome. Number 17, Stan's teen avatar.
This is sick, man. Are you really going to go through with this? I've already missed so much of Steve's life. This way I get to keep hanging out with him.
Many parents can probably relate to wanting to be closer to their children, and most would try most things to achieve that. But take note, don't do what Stan Smith did unless you want to be potentially scarred for life. The patriarch steals a page from Avatar and projects his mind into the body of a teenage girl. While inside of this body, he makes some mature promises to Steve. It looked like this plotline would go way too far after the kid and the Avatar get close at a dance. Thankfully, Francine intervenes before anything happens. Unfortunately, Stan didn't seem to learn anything from this disturbing plan.
I was there for him. I was there to help him through this terrible moment in his life.
But you caused that terrible moment.
Yep. Everything worked out for everybody in the end.
Number 16, The Whole of American Fung.
Don't turn channel, please. Hello, this is American Dad you are watching. So who am I? Fung Chinese billionaire.
This entry doesn't cover just one moment, but the whole episode due to how far the creators changed things up. American Fung features fictional entrepreneur Fung Hua purchasing the rights to the show, and while he claimed he wouldn't change it, he does in a series of bad ways. Hua is introduced as a cartoon to Roger, Haley, and Steve.
Everybody, I have decided to set out on a grand adventure of my own.
That's amazing!
Congratulations again.
Just wow.
He becomes a Mary Sue-esque character that's fawned over by the others, finds solutions to problems, and discovers treasure. The episode's switches between live action and animation were jarring, and the ending with the show being sold to a Chinese business with a knockoff Mickey Mouse didn't help. It's no wonder this episode is considered one of American Dad's worst. Number 15, Roger's Cruel Lie.
Well, that's because all the footage was taken before you were adopted.
What are you talking about? I'm not adopted.
No, of course not. That'd be silly. You look just like your dad.
To get back at Steve for getting a cookie that he wanted, Roger convinces the kid that he was adopted. As part of this sick plot, the alien destroys the young Smith's baby photos. Steve becomes so convinced that he's been adopted that he makes a gross choice. Since he no longer believes he's related to Haley, he gets uncomfortably close to her. But even that act isn't enough for Roger. The alien finds a family who lost their son and sends Steve to them. For a moment, the parents thought they found their missing kid, but Roger cruelly crushes their hopes.
Gotcha! Those aren't your parents! That's for taking my cookie!
What?
Remember? You snooze, you lose!
It's important to remember that multiple people were traumatized just because Steve ate a cookie. Number 14, Elbow of Doom. After Roger runs away from Francine as she's being mugged, he decides to become a police officer. Unfortunately, the alien becomes a corrupt cop that works for a man named Migliaccio. Stan eventually collects evidence of Roger's misdeeds.
Before we do anything crazy, let's make sure he has the tape.
Roger, I have the tape.
So I'm gonna give you a call back.
But when Migliaccio finds out about the blackmail, he kidnaps the patriarch. The corrupt lawman then orders Roger to take Stan out. However, the alien defies the order and fights back. Roger ends the fight with an elbow drop that would make Randy Savage jealous, and a little bit sick. While we can't show it here, trust us when we say there's not much of Migliaccio's head left when the alien is done.
You really turned out to be one tough SOB.
Thanks, Stan. So, have you heard anything? Is Chaz gonna be okay?
No.
Number 13, Stan frames Francine. In 4 little words, Stan gets tired of his boss Bullock keeping him late at work. The patriarch thinks he can stop the long hours by introducing his superior to Francine's friend, Melinda. This plan works, until Bullock mistook her for an enemy and killed her. To cover up his mistake, the boss planned to assassinate Francine. Stan decided to get his wife out of danger by framing her for the murder of her own friend.
I'm leaving, Stan. I killed someone and it's tearing my soul apart.
Francine was so guilt-ridden that she went to another country to dedicate her life to charity work. As terrible as Melinda's death was, seeing Stan gaslight his own wife into thinking she was a murderer was worse. We understand why Francine didn't even want to touch her husband after this.
I'm pretty eager to get home myself.
Don't touch me.
Still not there yet?
Not even close.
Number 12, Roger's obsession with Haley. Roger's always been a tad unstable, but the episode Love Ad Style took it to another level. When Haley sang at his bar, Roger became obsessed with her. His fixation only gets worse as the episode goes on.
I think I love Haley.
Dude, seriously? With Francine Cans McGee strutting around this place?
Every time I see her, I turn into a complete idiot. These feelings are too intense.
After Roger corners Haley in a hospital, he knocks her out and takes her to an isolated location. If all that wasn't bad enough, things got worse when her husband Jeff arrived to save Haley. The alien tries to look more human by subjecting the spouse to some horrible skin surgery. Roger's nonchalant attitude about the laundry list of crimes he commits to get closer to Haley was pretty disturbing.
Great, you hate it. Well, that's all right, I'm over you anyway. Steve was right, it was just a crush. Hey Jeff, good news, you're getting your skin back.
Number 11, Kisses the Dog. Due to a past trauma involving having to finish his childhood dog, Stan was adamant that Steve couldn't have a faithful hound. However, after meeting Kisses the Dog, he changed his tune. But the pup gets into a horrific accident involving pirate cats and a hot air balloon. Yeah, we know that's a weird sentence.
Well, the good news is that Kisses survived the balloon accident.
He's still alive!
Well, yes, but he's only breathing with the help of a machine.
In any case, instead of letting Kisses go, Stan took him to a veterinary equivalent of Frankenstein. The mad doctor steampunked a monstrous Kisses back together, but thanks to a dream involving his previous dog, Stan saw he'd crossed a line and finished off the Frankenpup. His extreme method was fitting for such an over-the-top episode.
Stan!
I blew up Kisses with dynamite.
What? Why?
Because of Freddy.
Number 10, a water slide too far. Considering watching this moment causes everyone to cross their legs and wince, it deserves to be here. In the episode Award Show, Stan and Francine are vacationing at a water park, but they get bored after doing everything within a couple of hours. Eventually, they decide to spice things up in an over-ambitious way.
This place is totally screwing us.
Yeah, well, they're not the only ones who can do the screwing.
I beg your pardon?
Francine decides to wait at the bottom of the slide as Stan throws himself after her. Unfortunately, they collide below the waist and everything goes red. A hospital scene showed they survived the brutal impact, but the image of their horrific injury remains stuck in our heads.
This is the worst day of my life.
Number 9. Forbidden Love.
My date's supposed to be holding a rose.
My date's supposed to be in a Packers helmet.
Roger is an alien. Klaus is a German man stuck in the body of a fish. It may have taken over a decade, but didn't everyone expect these two to hook up? Okay, maybe this is the weirdest coupling we've ever seen on screen.
Although Roger has hooked up with everything and everyone under the sun, he gets desperate for love and resorts to online dating. An honest mistake leads him to Klaus, and the ensuing intimate scenes, well, we wish that we had brought a barf bucket with us.
You'd never think that a cartoon could make you gag like that.
Number 8. Stan Goes Blind.
Oh, Francine, thank you for meeting me. Look, I know I've been acting like an ass, but I'm committed to this.
We all know Stan is a strong and brave patriarch. However, he's also deeply sexist, shallow, and carries around some very old world views. When it becomes clear that he loves Francine for her looks, and expects her to consistently take care of herself for him, she finally decides to relax and let herself go.
And I didn't want to lose you, but I can't get past your looks. So I did the only sensible thing a man in my position would do. I had my retinas removed. I'm completely blind.
The ensuing results are pretty horrific. But since Stan can't take a clue and show his wife he loves her for who she is, he does the only logical thing he can think of. He removes his retinas to save the marriage.
A toast to us.
Number 7. Chiseled.
Don't worry, baby girl. You'll be able to show your face again.
While the abuse Haley goes through is nothing compared to Meg Griffin, there have been some questionable parental moments. Case in point, when Haley gets wrongfully accused of destroying a mural and is hunted down by the entire town, her loving father saves the day, Stan style. He knocks her out and performs reconstruction surgery on her face. The surgery itself is stomach-churning, as well as hilarious, but the disaster doesn't end there. Haley comes out looking like Frankenstein's monster from a surgery she never asked for. A bad case of father doesn't know best.
You made me a monster!
Number 6. Kidnapping Boyfriends.
Stan!
Francine, I can explain.
Over the years, we've seen multiple ugly sides to Stan Smith and wondered how he turned out to be this way. The infamous episode, Edible Panties, decides to answer some of these questions, as it deep dives into Stan's relationship with his mother.
But then she started dating again, and I knew these men would just break her heart like my father did. So I did what any rational, loving son would do. When they took her out, I took them out.
Disturbing to say the least, we learn that Stan has made it a habit of kidnapping his mother's boyfriends and making them disappear. Wanting mommy all to himself, this is an unhealthy relationship for the ages. The cherry on top, that nightmarish bath time song that Francine, nor the audience, will ever forget.
Wash, wash, wash your tushy, scrub, scrub, scrub your tushy, rinse, rinse, rinse your tushy, we just did your tushy.
Number 5. Surrogate Parents.
Hey, it's our favorite gay neighbors.
Ultra-conservative Stan Smith does not hide his strong beliefs and Christian values. It was only a matter of time before his homophobic side came out to play, what with loving couple Terry and Greg living down the street. Stan has been pretty civil to them, in his own way, until they decide to have a baby.
I've always said you can't raise normal children in an abnormal environment. Do you know what that'll do to society?
Along with the incredibly offensive stereotypical one-liners, Stan really crosses the line when he takes their newborn son just so the infant wouldn't be raised by two fathers.
Do we really want to forgive Stan at the end of this one?
50 miles to the freedom of an orphanage, where we'll get you some real parents.
Number 4. His Civic Duty. Poor Steve, so innocent and naive. This episode was the definition of nervous laughter as we watched a sex offender named Randy move into the neighborhood.
Hi, sorry to disturb you. My name's Randy. I just moved in with my mom down the street.
I'm throwing empties at your head!
I was recently released from prison.
He makes his past clear to his neighbors after he arrives. However, Stan is completely oblivious when Steve and his friends are swept away right under his nose. They end up spending an uncomfortably large amount of time hanging with Randy.
Randy used to work at the water park before the Troubles. You might want to check there.
The extraordinarily dark circumstances surrounding this plot led to a number of skin-crawling scenes that were hard to laugh at. In the end, the show's attempt to joke around with Randy led to the creation of one of its darkest plot lines. Number 3. Stan's CIA Double. The episode Pulling Double Booty is all levels of messed up and confusing.
Stay the hell out of my love life!
First, Francine is horrified to find Stan and Haley in a very questionable position. Thankfully, it turns out that her daughter is actually making out with a body double named Bill.
You all know Bill, right?
Hi, Stan. Francine.
Wait, so that was Bill upstairs?
But the lines are crossed all over again when this fake Stan pretends to be the real one around Francine. However, the gross plot doesn't end there. Eventually, Stan pretends to be the body double and continues to stay as close to Haley as Bill was. It's almost impressive that this patriarch and his body double managed to cross the line so many times with just one horrendously misguided scheme.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
I love you, honey. I said it, see?
Number 2, Camp Refugi.
Steve, you're not gonna miss out on camp after all. We're staying in Africa.
No group is left behind by Stan's insensitivity and cluelessness.
Wanting his son to have a great summer camp experience, Stan accidentally sends Steve to a refugee camp in Africa. It's truly hard to believe that Stan, a CIA operative, can be this obtuse. Like when he goes to rescue Steve, and ends up trying to turn the refugee camp into a real summer camp.
Welcome to Camp Refugi.
Making fun of refugees is bad enough, but calling a violent attack by local rebels a panty raid really makes the humor hard to fathom.
Camp Bawongo? Oh, it's a panty raid! I was not expecting that!
Number 1, Giving Release.
See, I told you this thing was fast.
Since Roger is one of the most outrageous characters on the show, we've grown to expect him to shock us at least once an episode. But this scene went far even for him.
Playing pranks and manipulating people is what Roger does best, and convincing Stan that their new horse needs regular, manual stimulation takes the cake.
Well, you have to brush the horse's coat and mane, water and feed it, and then give it a full release.
A what?
That brief garden hose moment where we were all tricked into thinking the show had definitely gone way too far resulted in over 100,000 complaints and a $25,000 fine from the FCC.
I can't believe you did it! Oh, too good, too good.
Okay, let's face it, Robot Chicken never cared about rules. But when you combine late-night cable freedom with endless pop culture parodies, well, you're bound to hit moments that go too far.
That's not how key parties work.
Gosh, he's right, Sora.
What is this key party?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Robot Chicken went too far.
Have you any last words?
I know Jesus has forgiven me.
Is that a joke?
No. For this list, we'll be looking at moments from the animated sketch that were shocking, over the top, or in poor taste. Have a different moment where Robot Chicken went too far? Number 10, Sunny Muffins. A little girl frolicking through a field seems innocent enough until she comes across a trapped Pegasus.
Horsey!
Thank goodness you found me. Little girl, please set me free.
Don't move, I'll be back.
The animal asks the girl for help, who seems willing to do so. However, things take a dark turn when she pulls out a pair of scissors to cut the Pegasus's wings, and then feeds him oats that cause him to black out.
Here, eat these magic healing oats.
Okay. Oh, smells kind of funny. Did you drug me?
As if the sudden shift in tone wasn't enough, when the horse awakes, the girl informs Pegasus he has a new name, Sunny Muffins. When he refuses to accept the name, she whips him into complying.
Come on, say your name. What's your name?
Sunny Muffin.
What's your name?
My name is Sunny Muffin.
The brutal psychological torment coming from such a little girl is disturbing, to say the least. Number 9, Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios may not be everyone's go-to for cereal, but its ads are bright and cheery with its well-known mascot, Buzz Bee. He makes some Cheerios appear, much to the delight of two boys at the kitchen table.
Did somebody ask for a tasty breakfast?
Wow!
Nothing beats the taste of oats and honey.
In fact, one of them likes it so much he slams his fist on the table, which inadvertently causes the bee to sting him in his arm. If honeybees use their stinger, it can be fatal.
No, oh my God, no, this can't be happening.
While the boys assure Buzz everything will be fine, the sad truth is that his life will come to an end. He dies slowly in front of the boys as he describes his final moments.
It's so cold. Oh, my heart. I can feel it slowing down. Oh, it stopped. I'm so scared.
So much for being bright and cheery. Number 8. Raiders of the Magic Garden. Due to the nature of the show, there isn't much need for setup or context, but this sketch features a parody of a 70s children's show, The Magic Garden, which featured two women who would sing songs and tell stories.
Oh, playmate, come out and play with me, and we'll have fun, you'll see. Climb up our magic tree.
This is mashed with the climax of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when the story box asks to be opened.
It seems like the story box wants to tell us a story.
Let's take a look inside.
When the box is opened, spirits come out and the two women are killed for having looked upon them. However, there's no justification as to why they suffer such horrible deaths, so it comes off as gratuitous. Number 7. Kermit Kong. What at first seems to be a King Kong parody, but with Muppets, soon reveals a more twisted nature. A giant Kermit climbs up the Empire State Building with Miss Piggy in hand.
We'll rescue you, Piggy! Get lost, you blue weirdo! We're on a date!
He's attacked by fighter planes despite Piggy's cries for them to leave. They spray Kermit with water, hitting him in the eye. He falls to his doom, but the scene then transitions to the Muppet Babies, and we see that Kermit has fallen through a glass table. When Nanny appears, she commands the Muppets to clean up the crime scene. Obviously, this isn't the responsible thing to do, as the young Muppets don't fully comprehend what happened to Kermit.
What about my Kermit?
He never loved you. Now move, goddammit!
Number 6. Kingdom Hearts Key Party. If you're unfamiliar with key parties, this sketch will painfully bring you up to speed. Xehanort demands Sora's key so they can get the party started, but Sora refuses, preparing to fight.
I face too much loss and too many convoluted gameplay rules, Xehanort. You want my Keyblade? Take it from my cold, dead hands.
However, we soon find out that the keys are for people to take at random, and then get it on with that key's owner. From there, more Disney characters pop up and start getting down to business.
Guys, this feels inappropriate.
Sora, for his part, is not down and is made an unwitting participant in the whole affair. There's even a moment involving Donald Duck under Maleficent's robe.
Less talking, more baking, you imbecile!
We definitely could have gone on without seeing that. Number 5. Dave's Mercenary Warehouse. Two guys are just hanging out on what looks like a calm evening when suddenly mercenaries burst through the door and proceed to wreck everything.
Oh my... What the...
Not only do they kill one of the boys' mothers, but they bring in horses to pull one guy apart and they shoot the other. We then find out these mercs were hired by someone else who was insulted for the backpack he wore.
That'll show you for making fun of my backpack.
All this senseless violence was for nothing, as the mercenaries broke into the wrong house. The whole sketch is an ad for a mock guns for hire service.
Well, come on down to Dave's Mercenary Warehouse. We kill the right guy or your money back.
The level of aggression displayed is just way over the top for what it is. Number 4. Sailor Moon Confronted. Serena is walking down the street when an unnamed villain approaches, telling her Queen Beryl needs her life force to take over Earth.
Queen Beryl needs her life force in order to take over the planet Earth.
Serena, change it to Sailor Moon quickly!
She quickly transforms into Sailor Moon and is ready to throw down. Things become very awkward. Very quickly, as Serena's transformation and moaning have made the villain aroused. He apologizes profusely and even admits that it's disrespectful towards her.
I don't know why that happened.
Jeez!
I'm so sorry. That is so disrespectful of me.
Sailor Moon questions if there's any point to fighting, and both agree to go their separate ways.
The moment's definitely passed.
All right, see you next time, maybe.
Yeah, sure, okay. Another time.
What makes the sketch even more disturbing is that Sailor Moon is rather young, and the villain comments that she's pretty hot. Ick. Number 3. The Joker. Batman catches the Joker and mercilessly punches him, but stops himself from killing him. The Joker points out that because of Batman's no-killing rule, the Joker will be able to continue committing crimes.
That somehow means I win. I go to jail, escape, kill people, go to jail. Rinse and repeat.
Yes, it's an endless cycle, but I've sworn to let the courts do their work.
To break the cycle, Batman testifies at the Joker's trial, where he ends up receiving the death penalty. At his execution, Joker's strapped to the electric chair and suffers horribly as it's revealed Commissioner Gordon didn't put a wet sponge on Joker's head.
But why? For Barbara.
The violence depicted is way over the top, both when the Joker is punched by Batman and even worse during the execution as his face quite literally melts off. The most disturbing part is that Batman is the only person who isn't horrified witnessing the Joker electrocuted. Number 2. Skylanders Trap Team. This sketch is a twist on the video game Skylanders Trap Team, but the joke is as pretty tasteless as they come. Bushwhack decides he's gonna take on Tough Luck in more ways than one.
Shut up, High Five! If anyone's gonna conquer that kitty, it's gonna be me, Bushwhack! Axe to the max!
Whisper Elf uses a double entendre on the game's name to describe Tough Luck to Bushwhack, but Bushwhack misunderstands it.
We trap bad guys and put them in jail!
Bushwhack ultimately figures it out, but unfortunately, the term being used here is one used to denigrate trans people. Number 1. Cuddles Fabric Softener. You might want to turn away from this sketch as it's way over the line. Viewers growing up in the 90s may remember fabric softener commercials featuring the Snuggle Bear.
I'm Snuggle. Now's my chance to tell you about new Snuggle fabric softeners. Snuggly softeners that's really less expensive.
In this parody, a man doing laundry complains his clothes aren't huggably soft. Cuddles appears to say that he can make them feel huggably soft.
Leave it to me. Being huggably soft is my business, and business is good.
They are soft, and so are you, Cuddles.
The man comments on how soft Cuddles feels to the point he soon becomes excited. Things become very inappropriate as the man takes Cuddles to the bathroom. The show is known for being shocking and offensive, but what it depicts here is way too much.
You might not expect a goofy cartoon sponge to stir up controversy, but SpongeBob SquarePants has had his fair share of eyebrow-raising moments. See for yourself.
Ow! Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times SpongeBob SquarePants went too far.
You too, Patrick?
Yeah.
For this list, we're looking at some of the darkest, grossest, and most disturbing moments of this Nicktoon. What SpongeBob moment do you think crossed the line? Number 20, the Flying Dutchman's scare tactics. SpongeBob might have grown unfazed by the Flying Dutchman's attempts to scare him, but honestly, that stuff is nightmare fuel. After the Jolly Roger gets into an accident at sea, the Dutchman crashes at SpongeBob's house. He quickly forgets that he is a guest at the Pineapple and decides to amuse himself by scaring SpongeBob.
I love me a good snail.
Gary! He transfigures himself into increasingly disturbing images. He even transforms into a version of SpongeBob with the eyes spilling out and bugs crawling through the eye holes. Did the show writers and animators have a secret agenda to see how badly they could scare us? 'Cause that was rough to watch. Number 19, Squidward rips his eyebrow off. This whole episode is pretty much universally hated among SpongeBob fans, and a big part of the reason for that is this moment.
Gotcha. Now just one quick flick of the wrist and...
As Squidward is doing his morning routine to prepare for the day, SpongeBob and Patrick are boarding up the Pineapple to get ready for an oncoming storm. The noise distracts Squidward, and while plucking his eyebrows, he accidentally takes his whole eyebrow clean off, taking the skin underneath with it. The sights and sounds of this one are just so gross. It's so unnecessary and gratuitous. It adds nothing to the story and isn't even funny. It's just gore for the sake of gore.
Well, I think I'll pass.
Even if I let you borrow my huggly snuggly bunny slippers?
I'll have to think about that.
Number 18, it all started when I was born. Sandy accidentally fuses SpongeBob and Squidward together with her new transporting device. At first, Squidward hates it, but when he's greeted with praise during a clarinet performance, he decides that being fused with SpongeBob is great.
Squidward, this is your moment. The story you will tell when you look back as a superstar.
However, Sandy turns them back to normal. Worried that he's only good while attached to SpongeBob, he tries to fuse them together again but ends up breaking the machine and fuses several of the main characters to himself. So gross. Though the initial joining was an accident, this one is all on Squidward. So it's hard to feel bad for him when he ends up in a shrink's office claiming all his problems started when he was born.
So, what seems to be the problem, Mr. Tentacles?
It all started when I was born.
Squidward can have a tendency to be overdramatic. Number 17, SpongeBob's negligence. SpongeBob attempts to help Gary by getting him a pet, a puffy fluff of his own. But he takes no steps to educate himself on the needs and behavior of the new pet. He doesn't even listen to the woman selling him the pet, and in fact steals it without even thinking about it.
Yeah, thanks, bye.
Why bother? They never listen.
Gary tries to reach out for help, but SpongeBob just blames Gary for the problems. What a jerk.
Gary! Gary! Unlock this door immediately! Gary, do you hear?
He brought the new pet home at first because he felt guilty for leaving Gary alone, only to leave Gary alone all over again. SpongeBob's negligence nearly gets Gary killed. Number 16, using Gary as a metal detector. Mr. Krabs has always been a very greedy man. In fact, it's his main character trait. So it's not really surprising that when he finds out that Gary has a knack for locating money, he takes advantage. SpongeBob even says himself that it is not good for Gary, but Mr. Krabs does not care.
Yes, but for some reason, the whole process causes Gary great discomfort. I could never do that to him.
I could.
He basically kidnaps Gary and uses him like a metal detector, or more accurately, a money detector against his will. He uses Gary to steal money all around Bikini Bottom. He even lies and manipulates SpongeBob to do it.
I was gonna give him a snaily treat. See?
Oh, okay!
Mr. Krabs' greed never ceases to amaze, but this was way over the line. Number 15, Squidwards Toenail. Squidward tends to take a lot of abuse on this show, both mentally and physically. This one is the latter.
Now don't move it till I say, ow! Okay, it's on my foot. Now don't.
SpongeBob attempts to help Squidward spruce up his house in order to impress a reality TV show about upscale houses. Naturally, things hit the fan pretty quickly.
Skin me alive and drench me in boiling oil. What have you done to my living room? I told you just to paint the faded spot.
Well, it all looked kind of faded.
While moving a couch, SpongeBob accidentally drops it on Squidward's foot and continues to slam it down in an attempt to get it off of his foot. But it just ends up ripping Squidward's toenail right out.
Ow! SpongeBob, I told you not to move it till I said, ow! Why do you keep moving it?
'Cause you keep saying, ow!
Jeez, imagine that pain. Actually, the graphicness of the scene leaves little to the imagination. Number 14, the hypocrisy. Squidward does some pretty terrible things to SpongeBob over the course of this show, but this time he doesn't deserve the hate he gets for it. Squidward discovers SpongeBob's diary and reads it aloud to everyone in the Krusty Krab.
Get this, if I hear the Bikini Bottom municipal anthem, I can't help but take off all my clothes and dance around in my underwear.
When they see a completely dejected SpongeBob realize what's going on, they all turn on Squidward. Which wouldn't be so bad if they hadn't been laughing along with him only a few moments before.
Diary thief!
Jerk! Secret stealer!
Billy, stay away from that mean old diary reader.
Such hypocrites. They villainize Squidward as if they weren't in on the joke. The things they do to him as punishment are way over the line.
Squidward! How could you?
Number 13, Patrick purposely puts himself in danger. Patrick is SpongeBob's best friend, right? Well, he certainly doesn't act like it in this episode. Patrick discovers a rare Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy trading card that SpongeBob has been searching for.
Is this a good card, SpongeBob?
No, it's just another...
Mermaid Man says... Buy more cards!
He promises to give SpongeBob the card if he can only keep it for one night. But Patrick abuses the card and puts himself into more and more dangerous situations, putting the card at risk.
Patrick, look out!
Towards the end of the episode, Patrick reveals that he did all this on purpose just to mess with SpongeBob. What kind of a friend is that? He put SpongeBob through torture just because he could. Number 12. Patrick making things worse. Going through the ringer is a standard part of SpongeBob's morning routine. But being stuck in it is a whole different story. SpongeBob slips on a rubber duck that somehow got ejected from Patrick's house into his bathroom window and lands in the ringer. Unable to free himself, he asks Patrick for help. But rather than listen to what his friend needs, Patrick forever glues him inside.
Stuck? I can help with that. Okay. Oh, there. There you go, buddy. Now you're stuck forever.
With his arms pinned, SpongeBob is unable to work or do much of anything. It gets so bad that he can't even eat some comfort ice cream. SpongeBob gets so fed up that he lashes out at Patrick for doing this to him.
If it wasn't for your forever glue, I wouldn't be stuck in this thing.
I was only trying to help.
Help! I think you've helped quite enough today.
And the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom get mad at SpongeBob. What sense does that make? Number 11. National No SpongeBob Day.
Gone! 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 Gone!
This one's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? An entire day where everyone gets away from SpongeBob, even his so-called best friend. Just imagine everyone thinking so little of you that they all get together to create a literal holiday dedicated to getting away from you. So harsh. Poor SpongeBob may be annoying and troublesome at times, but no more so than any of the other main inhabitants of Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob definitely doesn't deserve that. We're not sure if it's better or worse that SpongeBob didn't even know the day existed until all his friends returned.
You're all still alive? Well, where did you go?
It was National No SpongeBob Day!
National No SpongeBob Day?
Yeah! A whole day dedicated to getting away from you.
On the one hand, it would have devastated him to know. But on the other, he spent the whole day worried and alone, not knowing what was happening. Number 10. Squidward's Rampage. It's no secret how SpongeBob acts as a nuisance to Squidward, mostly by accident, but who'd ever think it'd come to this level? SpongeBob has been trying to give Squidward his happiest memory, but to no avail. Desperate, he kidnaps the depressed cephalopod and drags him to a party full of papier-mâché SpongeBob models, because that's not creepy at all.
Unfortunately, everyone I tried to invite was busy or sick, but don't worry. I used my papier-mâché skills to fill the party with your favorite person, me!
Finally fed up with his neighbor's antics, Squidward goes on a psychotic rampage and mercilessly massacres the papier-mâché duplicates, laughing maniacally and saying that this is his happiest memory.
I feel wonderful! This is it! My happiest memory!
SpongeBob can be aggravating, but there's something off-putting about Squidward finding joy in murdering lookalikes of him. Not that SpongeBob seems to mind, apparently.
He's so handsome.
Number 9. The Splinter. At work, SpongeBob gets a splinter jammed in his thumb, and it's too deep to remove, and too graphic for us to endure.
Okay, fine, stay. But I hope you like making Krabby Patties.
As it oozes and throbs painfully, SpongeBob becomes more desperate to get rid of it. Desperate enough to call Dr. Patrick.
You called the right person, Mr. SpongeBob.
Not even remotely concerned about his best friend's dilemma, Patrick only makes things worse, causing the swelling to grow bigger and become even more infected.
There appears to be a little bit of swelling.
Mr. Krabs finally pulls out the splinter and gets a face full of revolting pus. While the artists deserve major props for going the extra mile with the distasteful and painful imagery, there has to be a limit before you make your whole audience squeamish. Number 8. The facial designs. SpongeBob and Patrick have been making absurd and sickening faces at each other and everyone else, and their choice in expressions is terrifying. Despite Mr. Krabs' warnings, the duo holds on to two grotesque faces, causing them to completely freeze.
Patrick, we have the face freeze!
Sandy tries to help loosen them up, but their faces end up looking absolutely horrifying.
Y'all are looking much more relaxed.
While the imagery is definitely creative, who could look at these ugly mugs without getting nightmares? This could have been a good way to teach younger audiences about the consequences of being naughty. Except at the very end, for absolutely no reason, Mr. Krabs and Squidward get the worst face freezes of all. And the episode just ends on a frightening cop-out. Number 7. SpongeBob's Krabby Patty Romance. Everybody loves Krabby Patties. But what happens when SpongeBob takes that love to a creepy new level? The delusional fry cook creates the perfect patty and develops a romantic attraction to it, to the point where he serenades the sandwich and maliciously destroys innocent clams that try to eat his delicate delicacy.
When we go riding, it's dandy, the way you hang onto the seat.
As time marches on, the patty starts to go rotten, as the artists generously show us with their nauseating close-ups, and SpongeBob finally snaps out of his creepy trance and eats the sandwich, way after it's expired. Maybe this is why SpongeBob shouldn't be romantically involved with anyone or anything, especially if his standards are this low. Number 6. Patrick pet-sitting Gary. SpongeBob's visiting his grandma for the day and needs his most responsible friend to look after Gary, but he asks Patrick instead.
You got it. He's safe with me.
Being the best pet sitter he is, Patrick completely neglects Gary, lets him starve, and tries to set him on fire with a flamethrower. On top of that, he bathes Gary with a fire hose and almost dries him with salt, which would have killed the poor snail. The fact that he does all this with a big dumb smile is further proof of Patrick's devolution from a likable dimwit to a selfish, uncaring moron who shouldn't be trusted with anything, like his best friend's pet's welfare. Number 5. Patrick upchucks his stomach. As Patrick is already a glutton, imagine how much grosser it would be if he ate like normal starfish do. When he and his fellow ocean dwellers are reduced to their feral forms by a strange moon, Sandy studies their natural lifestyle. We get the pleasure of learning a sea star's regular eating pattern by watching Patrick eject his stomach to grab a bite. While it's nice to add some realism to a cartoon, some deep-sea habits are best left unseen, like watching our devolved pink friend force his organs out of his body. While it's stomach-churning to watch, pun intended, it's not the worst side of Patrick that Sandy has to see. Number 4. Sandy's punishment.
I think I've just found out how to get the Krabby Patty formula once and for all.
In another harebrained scheme, Plankton steals Sandy's discarded pelt to use as a disguise and swindle the secret formula.
This is gonna work like a charm.
While he endures an annoying afternoon with SpongeBob, Sandy is hunting for the creep who stole her fur, and the Bikini Bottomites do nothing to help. Instead, they tease and chastise her hairless state every chance they get.
What is so funny about getting my fur stole?
Aren't you ashamed having your pink rat flesh exposed?
Adding insult to injury, after she finally catches Plankton, Sandy gets arrested for public nudity, even though she's not that indecent compared to the other townsfolk.
Public nudity is against the law in this county.
So apparently identity theft is okay, but unwillingly being half-dressed is taboo. Either way, this whole episode served no purpose other than to humiliate Sandy and paint the townsfolk as incompetent jerks. Number 3. Mrs. Puff wants SpongeBob dead. After SpongeBob fails his driving test, yet again, Mrs. Puff finally pops, permanently unable to puff again.
Will I ever be my old self again?
No, my dear. I'm afraid you'll never puff again.
Well, at least until the end when the status quo is reset. Her usual annoyance towards her student evolves into insane hatred as she enters him in the demolition derby to finally silence him in the worst possible way.
Why are you still alive?
Puff didn't expect SpongeBob to survive the derby, so she goes out of her way to kill him herself. We get it. SpongeBob can be really irritating, but that's no excuse for turning a simple, exasperated teacher into a homicidal maniac.
Not so fast! There's one more challenger!
What makes this worse is that Puff's miracle reinflation means that she tried to murder him for nothing. Number 2. Squidward thinks about ending things. After SpongeBob repeatedly fails to find him a happiest memory, Squidward falls into a clinical depression.
Wake me when I'm dead.
While he mopes around his house hopelessly, we're forced to endure some disturbing imagery.
I just can't seem to get happy. Well, that didn't help.
Including him shoving his head in the oven and stringing up some rope.
Maybe this will help.
Thankfully, both incidents were just psych-outs, but the depressing atmosphere made us all anxious and wonder if Squidward would really end it all. Someone taking their own life is a very sensitive subject to make light of, especially in a kid's cartoon. While SpongeBob has made jokes about it before, they were mostly one-off gags with no real plans to follow through, but to make it feel this real for a joke is inexcusable. Number 1. One-course meal as a whole. Turns out that Plankton has an intense fear of whales, so Mr. Krabs decides to dress up as Pearl to frighten the devious microorganism. From then on, we witness Plankton suffering from extreme paranoia and horrific nightmares, until he can't go on, and just wishes for death, all while Krabs revels in his misery.
That's it, I'm done. The 4:15 bus should be along any time now.
This is undoubtedly the cruelest thing Mr. Krabs has ever done. Tormenting a business rival who used to be his best friend to the point where they lose all hope goes way beyond their petty rivalry. The worst part, even after Plankton gets much-deserved payback, Krabs still swipes a victory, and the good-natured SpongeBob helped him.
But putting on a dress to frighten him? Isn't that taking it a little too far?
Remind us, who's the good guy again?
The show Big Mouth built its brand on being bold, awkward, and brutally honest about puberty, but sometimes it goes for shock only to overshoot its landing.
Allow me to show you the Glauberman method.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times Big Mouth went too far.
Put it on.
Okay, this is crazy.
For this list, we're looking at those extra gross or dark moments in this animated adult comedy up to and including Season 4. We'll let you catch up with Season 5 before delving into those. It's a show all about the painfully relatable aspects of puberty, so it's no surprise when things get a little out of hand. We still laugh until it hurts, though. Did we miss any? Number 20, Coach Steve and Jay's mom.
So is this your first time?
Yeah!
And you need me to teach you?
Exactly.
Well, I'm a very strict teacher.
Oh, I don't like that.
Some find him hilarious and adorably naive. Others think he's annoying and gross. We fall right in the middle with good old Coach Steve. His simple-mindedness is endearing, and we're happy that he finally got to make thick in the warm. But the scene itself is cringy to watch. Jay's mom is an interesting lady. Their pairing sort of makes sense, though, given the lack of boundaries both of them are known for.
You're a bad boy, aren't you?
Yeah, you're having sex with a boy. I don't want to go to sleep.
Oh, you don't have to.
In preparation for this momentous occasion, Steve and his hormone monster Rick sing Sex on a Lady, grossly detailing what he plans to do.
I want to do sex on a lady, but I'm not really sure I can.
It's a catchy song, but the image of a puking baby coming out of his pants cannot be unseen. Number 19, Lizer and Lola. Mr. Lizer has always been a jerk and a creep.
Well, bonjour to the lovely Miss Glazer.
In Season 3, he directs the school musical and hires Lola as his stage manager. She's had a crush on Lizer since the first season, for some reason, and quickly becomes his right-hand girl.
This play dares to harass the very notion of sexual harassment and say, yeah, me too.
Yes, Woe King, I'm with him.
Okay, no.
Their relationship crosses the line when he convinces her to massage his feet after hours. But if you ask him, it was all Lola's idea.
I guess I could, rob him a little.
I think that's a great idea that you just had. Silence my dogs, please.
We're glad it stopped there, but his behavior is still wildly inappropriate. The discovery of this act, thankfully, leads to his termination.
Liza, you're so fired.
Who cares? This school sucks.
Number 18, Camp Constipation.
Oh no, it's just as I feared.
What is it? You can tell me. Is it AIDS?
Oh, Andrew, you're suffering from poop madness.
Okay, we know what we signed up for with Big Mouth, but this episode was more than we prepared for. After After holding it in for the duration of camp, Andrew's gastrointestinal tract is ready to explode. Maury expertly diagnoses him with poop madness. In the woods, Andrew's intense pain makes him hallucinate even more, sending him into a trippy Alice in Wonderland hellscape. Nick stumbles upon his friend and helps him give birth to twin movements.
No, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Oh, Andrew, you're already doing it.
These scenes are definitely disgusting, but we still laughed. And we loved the psychedelic song, too. Number 17, Nick's parents in the future.
Welcome back to Countdown to Money, where the poor and desperate humiliate themselves for the chance to receive basic human services.
It's the year 2052, and it's the end of the world. Nick has grown into a successful game show host and completely cut off his friends and family. But when he returns to his hometown, he sees that his childhood home is the den of a sex cult run by a now married Jay and Lola. Nick sees that his parents are part of this cult too.
Hello, Nicholas.
Okay, Dad, you can give me one hug.
No. I respect your boundaries, and these days, I get all the affection I need from Jay.
Ah, come here, Pop.
In fact, his dad and Jay make out in classic Big Mouth style, all tongue and gross noises. Luckily, it turns out to be a dream, or more like a nightmare.
Oh, thank God. It wasn't real.
We still had to see it, though. Number 16, Jay and Lola's mud pool.
May I tongue you, my queen? Permission granted, my king.
Jay and Lola make an oddly cute couple. They're arguably the most unhinged of the characters, which makes their coupling a no-brainer.
That's it! You're both banned for the whole summer.
After both of them get kicked out of the pool for the summer, they go back to Jay's and decide to dig their own pool.
I love that idea. Let's build our own pool right here. We can use my dad's grave scooper.
And in the process, they form a friendship that quickly turns into an intense relationship.
Uh-oh, Your Majesty. There's like so much dirt under my fingernails from all that digging.
Jay develops a taste for Lola's muddy fingers and toes, regularly licking them.
Or, as I like to call them, the Queen's Nuggies.
Maybe it's the slurping sounds or just the fact that it's mud, but it's these parts of their scenes that we would like to forget. Number 15, Andrew and his cousin Cherry.
Could you imagine if I gave you a hand job? Our dads would be so pissed.
Would they be there?
Nick joins the Glaubermans on a trip to Florida for spring break. They're visiting Andrew's extended family, and the trip isn't great at first. Then Andrew's cousin Cheryl arrives, looking more mature than the last time they saw each other.
My little pony? Is that you?
Cousin Cheryl?
It's Cherry now.
There's an unsettling sexual tension between the cousins, leading to a full makeout scene. Of course, Maury encourages him to act on it because, anything goes in Florida. Just to make it even weirder, Cherry tells Andrew to wear their deceased Bubsy's wig and imitate her voice.
Oh God, come here.
Number 14, Faking It.
Missy, can't you see what's going on here? He's trying to steal you from me.
I'm not yours. I don't belong to anyone.
Valentine's Day really brought out the worst in some characters, but it's Andrew who had a full meltdown. He knows that Missy still likes him, so he goes over the top buying her gifts for the big day. When she doesn't respond the way he hoped, Andrew gets frustrated and lashes out. Later, at Lola's party, Andrew's jealousy of Lars, Missy's friend, boils over.
That's right, everyone. He can walk, I think.
Please don't do this, Andrew.
He accuses Lars of not actually needing his wheelchair. Even Maury tells Andrew this is a bad idea. But Andrew decides to prove it by pulling Lars out of the chair, only to realize that he very much does need the chair. Well, Connie says it best.
That is some weird-ass toxic masculinity.
Number 13, Funeral Tug.
I'm not obsessive. I just know that if I ever deviate from my very precise method, even a smidge, something terrible will happen.
Andrew has a certain ritual. On the night he changes things up, he hears his dad say that his Zadie, grandfather, has just died.
My father just dropped dead!
Zadie?
Your grandpa just died?
Andrew believes this happened because he didn't follow the Glauberman method, and Tito the anxiety mosquito convinces him that disastrous events will happen if he relieves himself again. But at the funeral, Maury tells him to de-stress by touching himself in the room where the casket is kept.
I know it's not ideal, but it is an empty room.
With the blessing of Zadie's ghost, Andrew decides to yoidle his doidle.
Yes, Andrew. Do this for me. Yoidle your doidle in my honor.
Naturally, this ends with him getting caught by his family. We're not sure if this episode made us laugh or cringe harder. Number 12, Men for Equality. Andrew goes into a tailspin after Missy rejects him for being a creep. So what does he do? He goes online, of course.
What do women want?
Shout out to my boy Mel Gibson.
'Cause I don't know.
He rants about his problems with girls, being confused by what they want and why they don't like him. A user invites him to a meeting, and he decides to go, in the hopes of connecting with some like-minded guys.
A bunch of us get together every Thursday. You should come.
Hey, should I go?
Meet up with a bunch of random men from the internet? Yes, please.
It's not long before he realizes that the men at this meeting are neo-Nazis. Andrew slips out of the meeting after a much-needed wake-up call, but not before a visit from the Shame Wizard.
Hello, Andrew.
Oh, God, of course, it's you.
Number 11, Jay and the Turkey.
Whoa, what are you doing here?
Ah, Jay. We enjoy his crass humor and unapologetic nature. But when it comes to his tendency to use inanimate objects in his spare time, things get gross real fast. Confused about his sexuality, Jay decides to take a break from touching himself on the regular.
So you're not gonna jerk off at all? You're just going cold turkey?
Cold turkey?
He finds himself lured into his kitchen by the delicious smell of turkey. We're not surprised he had an American Pie moment. This is the kid who has sex with pillows, couch cushions, and bath mats. Connie called it. Someone give her $20.
I bet you $20 by the end of this episode, that boy's gonna bone a turkey.
Number 10, Basketballs and Penises. In the opening episode, the show was throwing it all out there. After seeing Andrew's penis, it's all Nick can think about, as he wonders if everyone but him has hit puberty already. Seeing his friends in the locker room and then on the basketball court, he starts to imagine them as human-sized, detailed penises. Granted, the scene is hilarious, but it's also shocking. This is a middle school setting after all. However, there is no hand-holding on this show, as the showrunners are balls to the wall in their commitment to surprising their audience. Number 9, Porn Addiction.
Whoa, what are you doing?
What? We're gonna watch the porn, so I can forget about Missy.
The same one? Oh, my little sweet potato.
Like many teenagers, Andrew gets sucked into the world of online pornography. But in this case, literally. Lost in the pornscape, Maurice the hormone monster recruits Nick to try to take him back to reality. Together, they join a young Sylvester Stallone as they traverse a debauched river of kinks, banked by shores of copulating couples. In the heart of darkness of the pornscape, Andrew has become a lace-up shirt-wearing porn king.
What's that shirt?
My porn shirt? It's from my Dracula costume.
It's clear that he's trying to drown his feelings about Missy in an unending stream of smut. And to save him, Nick is nearly molested by a sheep in a thong.
No! Hey, leave him alone! He's not ready for any of this! Maurice, let's get out of here!
Number 8, Horseplay.
You okay over there, Missy?
This book is really good.
Throughout the episode, the boys and Maurice's minds are blown, pun intended, when they discover that girls get aroused, just like they do. The episode sees the female characters obsessed with a new romance novel involving star-crossed lovers, and a beautiful man who can transform into a horse.
Fatima, come to me. I am hungry for your touch.
Andrew's mother Barbara also begins to read the book, and realizes that something is missing in her life. Her husband Marty doesn't get what's wrong, but in an effort to make her happy, saddles up. Poor Andrew walks in as the kinky times begin. Jeez, even Maurice is horrified by the sight.
Jesus Christ. Look at the size of your dad's balls.
Number 7, Crusty Socks.
When did you finally go to sleep?
I didn't.
Whoa.
After spending a night making deposits into the old spank bank, an exhausted Andrew decides to head off to school. As he makes to leave, Maurice suggests that maybe he should clean up a little, as his room is covered in soiled socks.
Mature group pissing?
I guess I just got a little bored of the solo pissing stuff.
Sure, okay.
The image is gross enough,
but it still goes the extra mile to show us just how bad it really is. So bad, in fact, that Andrew opts to throw the whole load out in a synagogue dumpster on the street, rather than attempt to have them washed or even throw them away in the household garbage.
I guess the smell of pickled herring will hide the scent of your seed.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You're very smart.
Number 6, take the BJ train.
Duke, Nickelback!
The ghost of Duke Ellington resides in Nick's attic. Because why the hell not? When his older sister Leah holds a party when their parents are away, Nick starts to hit it off with Tallulah, a girl from the 9th grade. Later, he's informed by his somewhat unhinged older bro that she has a reputation for being a blowjob queen.
What?
Tallulah Levine, the blowjob machine.
Come again?
Dude, she loves giving blowjobs.
Confused, especially because he's been drinking cheap brandy, Nick seeks advice about oral sex from Duke Ellington, who is having a party with other dead celebrities upstairs. The ghosts tell Nick to drop trowel so they see what he's working with, and he is roundly mocked. The night does not get much better from there.
Does she have a gap between the two front teeth? Because then it might work out fine!
Number 5, Dance Dance Emission.
I've never danced with a boy before. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. that was great. You're doing great.
The title of the episode is Ejaculation, so we can't say we weren't warned. Brand new to the whole puberty thing, Andrew cannot quite control himself. Not only does he think of little else but sex, with Maurice constantly whispering perversions in his ear, but containing his urges is a living nightmare. So, at the dance, when Missy leads him to the floor, it is just too much.
Whoa, what's wrong?
I have to go, Missy.
What about the dances and all? Darn it.
Mid-dance, he loses control and makes a mess of himself. Horrified, he runs to the bathroom, where he only makes matters worse when he desperately tries to wash his pants in the toilet.
Andrew, why didn't you wash them in the sink?
That is a great question, Nick.
Number 4, Jay and Silent Pillow.
Go around to the side! Kids can't use a front door! Clients only!
Against their better judgment, Andrew and Nick agree to go to a sleepover at Jay's house on the promise of playing crazy and violent video games all night. Jay, who is certainly the weirdest of their group, and possessing exactly 0 filters, is all too happy to let them know that it's not just video games he uses to amuse himself.
Don't you want to just stick your dick in her?
Wait, what's that now?
In his bedroom, Jay very graphically describes his processes of having sex with his own pillow. It involves microwaved soup. Nick and Andrew are justifiably weirded out, but Maurice, naturally, is impressed.
There's another slit in the back, but that's only for my birthday. This kid might be a genius.
Number 3, Head Cheese.
Holy bonkers! This is a real trifecta for me. Hanging out with my parents, science, and my beau.
Maurice the hormone monster is more of an interference than a helper. When Andrew and Missy have to work on a project together, they go to a science center. Andrew just wants some alone time with Missy, but Maurice is determined to tag along.
Oh, smooth. Way to bring up your mom and also spider bites. You sure you don't want to tell them about your pediatric hemorrhoids?
As a distraction, Andrew finds who he believes to be the most sexless person, American public radio icon Garrison Keillor. With his hormone monster at bay, Missy and Andrew can take a literal tour of the heart. Maurice still manages to ruin Andrew's first kiss, but in an act of ghoulish overkill, presents Andrew with Garrison Keillor's severed head, and then defiles it. Jeez, are we only on number 3? Oh boy.
There's only one way to make you shut up.
Number 2, Cream Cracker.
Hey, what the hell? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you in the middle of a game?
Val!
Jay's older brothers come home early as the boys are playing video games. Because they're like older, crazier versions of Jay, they tell Andrew and Nick that they have an old Sylvester Stallone porno, but will only let them watch it if they complete a round of dares.
You want to see porn? You gotta pay for it in blood!
Blood for sex? That's some old school shit. I'm into it.
At first, this seems like it's just a fight club. However, once they've pummeled one another, they present another game, Jizz Kit. Realizing Nick has yet to hit puberty, and will surely be forced to eat the soon-to-be semen-laden cracker, Andrew cuts the game short. What follows is a harrowing, video game-like run to escape Jay's insane household.
May I see that cracker for a second?
Sure, it's low sodium, for now.
What the hell, you ass clown? Now we have to get another Triscuit!
You two, don't go anywhere.
Number 1, pillow shock.
Oh, that was amazing.
So good.
Yeah, it really unloaded in you.
I love you too.
All right.
Remember Jay's detailed instructions on what he does to his pillow? Actually, we're pretty sure you couldn't scrub that memory out with steel wool. Well, the episode appropriately titled Pillow Talk strives to teach a lesson about safe sex and responsibility. After once more doing the deed, Jay's pillow confesses that she is pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
What? Nice. I mean, how would that even be possible?
Terrified at first, Jay decides to take responsibility and will be a father to his little pillow. Throughout the pillow's pregnancy, they have their ups and downs, but the biggest shocker comes at the birth, when Jay notices that the little cushion looks like his older brother.
I thought we had an open relationship.
What would give you that impression? Ooh, we have an open relationship. Oh yeah, you can anybody you want, even my brothers. Okay, yeah, I might have sent some mixed signals.
Oh, Jake.
Okay, we're gonna end things today with a look at times Mighty Morphin Power Rangers got a little too real. It's morphin' time.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Power Rangers went too far.
Drakina's destroying her whole army. This time she's gone too far. Tell me, Rangers, are you ready to make the ultimate sacrifice?
They're not even human. Look at him, he's a freak!
For this list, we'll be looking at moments within the franchise where major lines were crossed, whether by the villains, the Rangers themselves, or even the writers. We'll only be examining the instances that occurred in-universe, so we won't be discussing any behind-the-scenes drama, even though there's a lot to talk about there. These moments will be plot-heavy, so expect spoilers ahead. Think we missed any outrageous moments? Number 10, Animus's Test, Power Rangers Wild Force.
Finally, he will reveal his true form.
True form?
It turns out that Kite, the Wild Force Rangers' child ally, was actually the resurrected godlike Megazord Animus in disguise. And what's the first thing he does after revealing himself? He turns his back on humanity and takes away the Rangers' Wild Zords just because the Orgs tricked him.
I'm taking the Wild Zords away from you. You will have to fight without them.
Animus, no!
Actually, it turns out that his little hissy fit was just a test to see if the Rangers truly were dedicated to protecting the Earth. Because apparently, selfishly fighting to save the world on a weekly/daily basis isn't good enough for him.
I took the Wild Zords from you as a test. I wanted to see if you were truly dedicated to protecting the Earth. You have passed my test.
Even if it was just a test, this act of self-righteous idiocy really destroyed Animus's reputation and likability in our eyes.
I am giving you back your Wild Zords. They will be here as long as you need them.
Thank you, Animus.
Number 9. Korag's Dishonorable Actions, Power Rangers Mystic Force. Of all the villains in Mystic Force, Korag prides himself on fighting with honor, which is more than his fellow baddies can say.
This time, I will be victorious!
And yet, for all his talk about being noble, he chose to play dirty in the episode Whispering Voices.
Use this to get into the Red Ranger's thoughts.
Yes, the White Ranger's snow staff.
For starters, he used magic to mess with Nick's head for a majority of the episode.
Why should they trust you? You don't even trust yourself. You don't even know where you're from.
What's even worse, he stole the Rangers' combining power, meaning they couldn't form the Megazord, and kept it for himself.
Dark Source! Evil Force!
What happened? Guys, we can't combine!
I shall use your own magical powers against you, as I summon the evil Mordecon from the underworld.
Who?
Rise, Mordecon! Rise!
While the Rangers did get the power back in the next episode, this paints Korag as a bit of a hypocrite, preaching about fighting with honor when he himself has no qualms about cheating. Number 8. I'm Astronema, Power Rangers in Space.
Hi.
At long last, Astronema has accepted that she's Corone and that Andros is her brother, and she is more than willing to help the Rangers find the missing Zordon.
Sorry if we startled you. Is this your ship?
This is amazing.
Unfortunately, Dark Spectre isn't having any of that. He lays a trap to capture her and has her enhanced with cyborg implants that brainwash her into being evil again.
Let's go!
The whole situation is nothing but tragic. Andros spent the majority of the season looking for his sister only to lose her again to the darkness.
We have to find him.
Ironically, Dark Spencer's brainwashing works too well because Cyborg Astronema starts secretly scheming to overthrow the evil monarch and take his place. Serves him right, to be honest.
There's only room for one evil monarch, and that will be me.
Number 7. Goldar's Ransom, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If you want to defeat the Rangers, you have to hit them where it hurts.
Tell me, Rangers, are you ready to make the ultimate sacrifice?
We've got to do this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let's get it over with.
That's what Rita decides when she kidnaps the Rangers' parents and has Goldar ransom them in exchange for the power coins.
You harm my parents in any way.
Silence! Give me the coin! No more Pink Ranger to get in my way!
With the lives of their parents on the line, the Rangers have no choice but to surrender their power coins, only to be backstabbed by Goldar.
So now that you have what you want, Goldar, our power coins, give us back our parents.
You fools! Did you really think I'd return them back to you? What for? I intend to destroy the world, and now nothing can stop me!
Please, no! You won't get away with this!
It was kind of expected, since Goldar is pure evil, but it was still a low blow to trick our heroes while using their loved ones as bait. Thankfully, the teens learn not to fall for the same trick twice and have Tommy help tip the balance of power back on their side.
Welcome back, old friend.
Number 6. Draken's Nasty Surprise, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. To be honest, there are no lines that Lord Draken from the Boom Studios comics wouldn't cross. However, this one really takes the cake. Planning a massive invasion of the Power Rangers multiverse, he ambushes Tommy and stabs him in the back, leaving him for dead. Murdering any Ranger is unforgivable, but to bump off the most legendary of all, that's a new kind of low. Made even more twisted by the fact that Draken is Tommy from an alternate universe. Miraculously, Tommy returns to life near the end of the arc to help put an end to Draken's insane takeover once and for all. Number 5. Trakeena's Invasion, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. With her sanity destroyed after fusing with Deviat, Trakeena orders an all-out attack on Terra Venture to destroy the Rangers for good.
We can destroy the Rangers without destroying our own soldiers!
Say it! I've got a date with destiny, and I won't be late.
That alone is insane, but Trakeena takes it a step too far by strapping bombs to her Stingwingers to blow up the colony and the Zords. Even if they are just foot soldiers, turning your own troops into bombers is just reckless and deprived.
Guys, be careful! The Stingwingers are rigged with bombs!
What?
Even the loyal Villamax is disgusted by his princess's ruthlessness.
Trakeena's destroying her whole army. This time she's gone too far.
We have a feeling this wouldn't leave the cutting room floor if it were filmed today. Number 4. Everything Venjix has done. Power Rangers RPM and Power Rangers Beast Morphers. The Venjix virus succeeded where most Ranger villains failed, enslaving the world.
A year later, it was estimated that Venjix had already infected 37% of the world's computer systems. By then, it was too late. Venjix took control of the world's communication, power, and defense systems. It built armies of advanced robotic soldiers that laid waste to everything in their path.
And he committed every heinous act under the sun with his newfound power.
I am Vengeance. Your world is now my world, and your time is now over.
But it's not over. Not yet. If you can hear my voice, please go now to the dome city of Corinth. It's the only place we can be safe.
This included, but is not limited to, abducting and experimenting on innocent humans, turning them into robotically enhanced sleeper agents or brainwashed servants. He even single-handedly managed to delete the Rangers out of existence.
No! So, 1 down, 2 to go.
What's worse is that even when he's seemingly defeated, he comes back deadlier than ever as Evox.
I was Vengeance! I have had many forms, and now my victory is certain.
So he's the computer virus that almost destroyed an entire world?
That can't be true. Nate!
Bro? It is true.
You could argue that this is all Dr. K's fault for creating Vengeance, but she didn't want or expect all this to happen. She just wanted to go outside.
I've waited years for you to energize the Morphex towers, so I could harness the Morphin Grid, and today, that becomes reality.
Number 3, Caron's trial outcome. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Anniversary Special. In Boom Studios' special 25th anniversary comic, Caron is put on trial for her many crimes as Astronema throughout the galaxy. Unsurprisingly, it doesn't go well for her until the real Astronema attacks the court. Excuse us, what? In reality, this other Astronema was a decoy made by Andros to clear Caron's name. While you can understand Andros wanting to protect his sister, he went about it the wrong way. He deceived an entire courtroom of grieving citizens and robbed Caron of her chance to face justice for all the wrongs she committed. And she was more than willing to accept any punishment they had for her. Unfortunately, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Number 2, Eric's Prejudices, Power Rangers Time Force. Time Force really pushed the envelope of kid-friendly programs by including mature themes such as discrimination. This is especially evident in the episode Trip Takes a Stand, where Trip takes a risk to protect an innocent mutant from Eric, the Quantum Ranger.
Eric, you're making a big mistake.
There's no mistake. Mutants have to be destroyed, plain and simple.
What?
Listen, we don't destroy them. We capture them and bring them to justice.
You think they deserve the same justice we do? Why? They're not even human. Look at him, he's a freak!
Eric is convinced that all mutants are bad and don't deserve the same justice as humans, and he's more than willing to try and shoot one of these quote-unquote freaks.
They're not even human. Look at him, he's a freak!
Oh, that's it. You want to destroy him because he's a mutant? Well, you don't even know his story.
The Rangers are supposed to be a symbol of equality and goodness, so to see one of them act with extreme prejudice against someone for their looks is just unsettling.
You hate him because he looks different. Well, if you have to destroy everything that's different than you, well, then you'd better destroy me too.
What?
Trip, no!
Trip, please, no! You can't do this!
It's okay. I'm not afraid to stand up for what's right.
But Trip, what
if we don't do it, then who will?
Thankfully, Eric doesn't follow through with shooting the mutant, thanks to Trip's bravery. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. The Omega Rangers lie about going to a peace conference, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers. Psycho Green's Slaughter, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Murloc's Mockery, Power Rangers SPD.
I've heard some sorry tales, but yours is truly one of the saddest. It will be the most treasured in my collection. You.
Number 1, Tasteless Illustration, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
What do we do now?
Zordon said these power morphers would give us power. Let's do it!
Before Boom Studios published their critically acclaimed Rangers comics, Paper Cuts had a short-lived line of Power Rangers graphic novels. While nothing impressive really happened with this series, the book By Bug Betrayed left a sour taste in our mouths thanks to one single panel. This panel shows Trini getting hit in the leg by a car. Trini's actress, Thuy Trang, tragically passed away in a car accident in 2001. Do we even have to spell out why this is wrong?
Mastodon! Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
Power Ranger!
Thankfully, the picture was edited in the digital re-release, but it's a sad case of too little, too late. While it may not have been intentional, this one illustration crossed a line by inadvertently disrespecting a departed actress.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this special look at times TV shows push the boundaries maybe a little too far. Thanks for watching. I've been Matt from Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.